Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And this is the match reaction for Everton's 2-2 draw away at Sheffield United. It does admittedly feel a bit like 2 points dropped, I guess. I'd probably say we shaded the match and we're probably the better side um, based on going through proceedings and that. Probably had the better chances to win the game. Two, I'd say, preventable goals that we conceded, which is obviously frustrating. But on the other side of things, there were a bit more positives, I think, today. There definitely seems be a bit more belief, maybe, like from our point of view, in terms of having someone like Beto on the pitch. Danjuma's starting to look a bit more lively as well, and obviously McNeil came on towards the end. And will hopefully be able to feature a bit more as well going forward. There just seems to be a bit more of a belief now that even if we're behind or need a goal in a game, that there is sources on the pitch from which we can get one, which obviously we haven't really had for the first few games. We kind of knew against Fulham or Wolves that we kind of had to score first, um, or they were going to end up punishing us and winning the game, which is obviously what happened. So that's definitely a positive. I thought it was another very good performance from Beto. Was obviously involved for the second goal. Lovely pass. First great, first good cross from Patterson all game, and lo and behold, we score from it. So that was probably a big frustration. I think probably crossing should have been better. I was a bit surprised that when McNeil came on, he wasn't out on the left and Jan Juma out on the right, so that they were obviously in a bit more of a natural position to swing crosses in for the likes of Beto and even Onana arriving. Doucouré can be a handful in the box as well, as we saw from the first goal from the corner. So, and like I say, I think maybe as well defensively, is probably now it's frustrating in that last season. You probably say we were quite solid at the back defensively, but just weren't scoring enough goals. Now it almost seems to have gone the other way, in that we look a bit more dangerous going forward, but there's question marks over our defence. And like I say, I think both goals were probably just down to like disorganisation amongst the ranks. I mean, you look at the first goal, you could maybe argue Onana should have cut out the cross, and then once it does go in there, Brentford and Tarkowski was doing the same thing, both like holding off, waiting for a shot from McBurney, which just allows him to lay it off for his teammate Archer, and he gets a clean shot off, and lo and behold, they score. And then, of course, the second goal, obviously Patterson's getting dragged over, leaving Archer unmarked again. And that's probably I would say that's down to Tarkowski. As a captain, as a leader, like naturally anyway at the back, needs to give his defenders a better impression of where they need to be at all times and when they go and when they shouldn't go. And I don't know, it makes me think that you think about last season, how much more solid we seem to be at the back, and we didn't seem to let in as many goals like this as we are at the moment. It just makes me wonder if maybe he's missing that leadership of Cody next to him as well. The two of them together, marshalling, communicating, and leading. Obviously next to someone like two youngsters really in Brantford and Patterson. Too young and inexperienced, who aren't quite ready to be organising a defence in that way. So maybe he's just missing out on that a bit, and that's probably costing us. And obviously there's a lot of frustration over the lack of transfer business we've done, particularly I think for me, uh, the lack of options we brought into the defence. And you just think about at the start of the window when we had that option to make Cody's loan permanent, just 4.5 million, not a lot. Obviously, no one's entirely sure what the money situation is right now, but it seemed clear that if we had the money to spend on the defender, we almost certainly would have brought one in, you'd think. Um, so it's probably would have been a good deal upon reflection, and we probably should have exercised that option, I'd say. And that's what I mean. It's still the frustration, I guess, really, and that the bench is still very light at the moment. Obviously, there are a few players still to come back from injury. Your Colemans, Calvert-Lewin, obviously still. Jack Harrison still needs to come back into the fold as well. Michael Keane was missing for injury. Lewis Dobbin as well. Apparently, both picked up knocks after that Doncaster game in midweek. So, like I said, there probably were times where we just kind of needed a bit more impetus, and maybe more changes could have done that on another day. But I don't know. It's a point of the thing. Like I say, first goals on the board in the league now, first point on the board. But I don't know if we're just going to look at that one at the end of the season as 2 points dropped. Um, I guess I feel should also really mention as well. Of course, like I say, Beto I thought played really well. Thought Annan had another very good game. Obviously, he's had a bit of a quiet start to the season, but I thought Doncaster he was probably one of our best players on the pitch, particularly in that dismal first half. And then again today, I thought he stepped up and played pretty well. And as I mentioned before, Dunjum is starting to look a lot more lively and get a lot more involved. Another goal for him now. That's two goals on the board for him already this season. And I also thought, particularly in the second half, that Brantford really stepped up. Like I said, I talked on before about still being very young, um, and almost having to be guided a little bit by Tarkowski. But I thought he really stepped up in the second half, and yeah, was winning a lot of headers and defending very well really. So but yeah, I'm going to talk more in depth about the players in the players ratings video, which you can watch after this one. But yeah, I think that pretty much just wraps up this video. So yeah, that was the match reaction to our 2-2 draw against Sheffield United. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave below in the comments what you thought of the game. Should we have won it? Is it a good point in the end? And yeah, what did you make of the players' performances? And yeah, subscribe to the Toffee Blues channel for more Everton content, and we will see you in the next video.